Thanks so much for joining us here on KREM 2. I'm Jenny Power, and it's time to get an extended look at what you need to know for this weather impact alert. And we have lots to talk about, folks. So what you need to know is that the weather impact alert that we have really seen in place all week long, it has now been extended, but for some different reasons that are coming into play. So for the day today, we are still dealing with some very hot temperatures, highs in the upper 90s to low triple digits. But moving forward through this evening into Friday and Saturday, our focus is going to move to the risk of some critical fire weather danger. So under these conditions, you still need to stay hydrated, take all of those proper hot weather precautions, and then on top of it, do everything we can to not start a spark, because we have the potential of new fires starting and spreading rapidly with these different weather conditions. So right now I want to start with a look at some of our air quality, where overnight we did see a new fire start out in Grant County near Beverly, the railroad fire, and it has led to some even hazardous air quality conditions for parts of central Washington, including areas like Ephrata as well as Soap Lake. So monitoring the air quality throughout the day today is going to be something that's crucial. This is that last check of what we are seeing so far this morning. As we take a look at one model's depiction of how the smoke is going to move, it's going to be interesting today because we have isolated thunderstorm activity that with it could produce some erratic winds and kind of impact the direction of where this smoke is actually going to be pushed through when we see those isolated storms kicking up. So for now, moving into this afternoon, we start to see some of these winds pick up from the south-southwest, pushing some more of this heavier, dense smoke to the east of where fires are burning. So we're watching for some pretty dense smoke up in parts of Ferry County, as well as spilling over into Stevens and Pend Oreille County. Parts of Spokane and Coeur d'Alene also looking to pick up some more dense smoke, although the air quality range could still dip in and out of the unhealthy category as we move into tomorrow. So that's going to be an interesting thing that we have to keep an eye on. We do have air quality alerts for all of these counties that are shaded in gray until Friday at 11 a.m. because of the potential of dipping into the unhealthy range. So that is when it actually impacts everyone, and that's when you want to do things like limiting your time outside and also checking on folks that might be vulnerable or especially sensitive to worsened air quality. Friday morning at 11 a.m., that's when these are going to be reevaluated, and we will see them either extended or we will see some expire. Now, our winds throughout the day today, this is a look at how they are expected to progress as we move forward. So again, it is going to have to do with the chances of some isolated thunderstorms that could kind of throw a wrench in this, but we're seeing elevated winds picking up out of the west-southwest toward parts of the Kittitas Valley and Ellensburg by this evening. We'll also be seeing those more elevated wind gusts down toward southeast Washington and into the LC Valley, which are both hot spots for the potential of some strong storms. Moving forward into tomorrow, though, to go along with mostly dry conditions, the whole region is going to brace to see some gusty winds. We do have red flag warnings in place for all of these areas that are shaded in pink for the day today, lasting until early tomorrow morning at about 2 a.m. because of the chances of isolated thunderstorms, where the main threat is going to be dry lightning and then the gusty outflow winds associated with those storms rapidly spreading any new fires that do get started. But then Friday and Saturday, our focus transitions here. We've got fire weather watches for all of these counties that are shaded in tan, not because of the isolated thunderstorm risk, but just because of some very dry conditions, some very low relative humidity combined with gusts that could potentially reach up to 40 miles per hour on Saturday. So that would lead to these being upgraded to red flag warnings and that critical fire weather danger as we get you ready get you prepared for this upcoming weekend. Now, as we take a look at our future relative humidity and our fire danger that we're expecting to see through this afternoon, it drops a lot here into the teens for Spokane, Ritzville, Connell, as well as Kennewick. We are also seeing relatively low humidity in Chelan and Omak. Then we combine the threat of those thunderstorms, and that does not mix well. So we have the threat of seeing some of these non-severe isolated thunderstorms for all of these areas that are shaded in light green. We're talking about a 10 to 30% chance. However, we do have now a marginal risk. This was put in place by the Storm Prediction Center for seeing isolated, potentially severe thunderstorms for southeast Washington into Pendleton, Oregon, as well as parts of the LC Valley. For these areas that are shaded in this darker green color, lightning as well as gusty outflow winds are still going to be a concern, but within those severe storms, we could be seeing even more frequent of lightning and gusts that could reach up to 60 miles per hour. We could even see hail within those severe thunderstorms. Again, a marginal risk here, so still on the lowest end, but a possibility for Southeast Washington and the LC Valley. As we move forward and get into our future tracker, moving into this afternoon, it is going to be dry, but this high resolution model is starting to pick up some of that thunderstorm activity that potentially could be severe toward the LC Valley and into Grangeville and the Camas Prairie areas by about 6:30 p.m. Also at about 6:30 p.m., we're watching for those storms firing up in the Okanagan Valley, and that's why we have that red flag warning in place. So moving forward into the overnight, we still have the slight chance of some of those pop-up isolated storms ahead of us, giving way to mostly dry conditions for Friday. Now, that is going to lead to relative humidity, plus we combine those winds, fire danger Friday and Saturday. We do have heat advisories in place until 9 p.m. for all of these counties that are shaded in orange. In general, it is going to be another very hot day out there. We'll see highs in the upper 90s for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, and we're looking at some low triple digits for Omak, Chelan, as well as Moses Lake, south to Richland and into the LC Valley. And this is a big heads up because we have firefighters that are already hard at work battling these flames, and then you mix these kinds of temperatures on top of that, and it just adds to the difficulty of the conditions that they have to work under while they are already fighting fires. So moving forward, we're under this weather impact alert. It has been extended through Saturday. Today, yes, the focus is on the high heat, but by this afternoon, the fire danger is going to be a big concern. And then Friday and Saturday, our main focus is going to be on that critical fire danger. Highs will still be in the low to mid 90s. It will be very dry out there, plenty of sunshine, the smoke and the haze, the degraded air quality, plus then we factor in these winds. So wind gusts on Saturday, that's when we could potentially see up to gusts up to 40 miles per hour. And that's bad news considering we have been so dry over the course of this last week. And then we mix in those very elevated winds. As far as the cooler temperatures go, those are expected to arrive for us Sunday, headed into early next week. It will be mostly dry still in that extended forecast, but temperatures will at least be a little bit closer to our average. A reminder that with the threat of the storms today, you can always stream our live local radar. It's available to you completely free 24/7 on the KREM 2 app. Just download it on your TV or your phone.